Hi, everyone. So, my name is Professor Dunn, and I am making this as my first introductory video for the class. And I hope you have enjoyed the beginning of the class so far, the little first discussion board and stuff. So, I'm going to make a short video here about the Berbers. So, we're going to look at who were the Berbers and where are they from. So the Berbers, they're a distinct group of people. There are actually many ethnic groups that are indigenous to North Africa, mainly to the area here that I'm showing you called the Maghreb. You see here in the orange. And they're united together because they have a common language. That's the big connecting thing for the Berbers. And as you watch the movie that I assigned, you'll see how they became actually this great empire that stretched over a lot of North Africa and then into Europe. The Berbers, we can date them through their art, and their art is found in the northwestern part of Africa, beginning at least 10,000 BC. So that's quite old. We have some cave paintings that date to the 12th millennium before present day, and these are found in the southeastern part of Algeria. So here is a good example of one of the cave images. And we'll be looking at a lot of this ancient art more in the north part of Africa and the south part of Africa. And we refer to this kind of art as rock art. They're not always in caves, they're just painted on rocks. So the history of the Berbers. So the Berber art has a history that dates back thousands of years, as I just explained. Berber art has been influenced by Islamic art, but many Berber artistic traditions predate Islam. So if you know a little history about Africa, you know that the Arabs came in and went across North Africa and converted big parts of North Africa to become Islamic. So when people are converted, then they incorporate images from the Islamic art. And it's a very interesting thing that, the traditional art gets kind of mashed up with the new Islamic art and forms a very unique kind of art, which is what happened to the Berbers. So they remain actually relatively unchanged despite the Muslims coming in and converting people. They also were colonized by other people. So they were colonized by the Carthaginians, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Arabs, and then lastly, the Europeans. And we'll be looking at a lot of these changes that happened because of colonization throughout the semester. So when we look at specific types of art from the Berber culture, we're looking at textiles, jewelry, pottery, and more. And they're known really for their really beautiful geometric patterns, vibrant colors, and then they have these symbols that are in the motif that have symbolic religious meaning, like the evil eye and things like this. While each group practices slightly different arts, many share several major traditions. One common element in Islamic art, which encourages the depiction of geometric or natural imagery over human or animal forms. So, why? Why do they use designs instead of human or animal forms? Well, if anybody out there who is listening to this is Muslim, you probably know the answer. If you're Jewish, you probably know the answer. There's this belief that, say you make a statue of God, then if you're actually praying to that statue, you're not praying to God. That's the belief. So it is called the no graven images. So they, within the religious setting, like a Quran, the holy book, they will not have images of people or animals because they're just going to focus on God and what God has said. So here's a good example of a kind of a vessel that is created by the Berbers, and you can see right away there's this patterning that is taking place on it. And these are utilitarian objects, so objects that are used, and these are most often made by women. So we have things like carpets, fabric, ceramics, baskets, things like this that are created by the women. So here's a great example of a woman who is weaving a rug. These are highly sought after, very high quality rugs that are created by the Berbers. And then we have the men who produce mainly like the commercial ceramics that are going to be sold to tourists. They work more with the metals, gold, silver, and then make jewelry with gems in them. So here's a great example. I have the earrings here and then them being worn here. And this becomes quite elaborate. So this is a traditional you know, let's say outfit of jewelry that a woman would wear. And this then is showing status, because if you have enough money to own all this jewelry, then gosh, you must have a lot of money. So it's a way of the family showing status. We also have tattooing, and in traditional early Berber culture, before they become converted to Islam, they would tattoo girls' arms and faces as the girls became, went through puberty, became women, and were able then to be married. And it was a sign of beauty, and then also to ward off evil spirits. It's not so unlike today where many people get tattoos or they have piercings, things like this. It's very common, right? For us to have tattoos and piercings. This, though, the tattooing of the face like this has fallen out of fashion because of the conversion of many of the Berbers to be Muslim. The last thing I'll show you here are the instruments. So the Berbers, before the Arabs arrived and they were converted to be Islamic or to be Muslim, then they had an oral tradition. They didn't have a written tradition. So they were not writing their stories. They're memorizing them. And they would have poets that would wander around and they would sing music and tell these stories. And it was a way of knowing, like, the history, morally how to live, and entertainment. Once we have the Islamic Arabs coming in, then we have a written language. We have these wandering poets. They could be women or men. And I have showing you here on the bottom a couple of the instruments. So we have the double clarinet, the drum, one-string fiddle, or as I said, the poets were both men and women. So I hope you have enjoyed the very short little video, and I'll be making many more of these throughout the semester. Bye for now.